Hello, everyone. My name is Nyasia. The lesson I created was a literacy lesson based on a child that I did an IRI assessment on. The student I did the assessment on is a little boy in an ICT classroom. Now, this little boy could read fluently, he could decode words, and could read his on his grade level and a little towards the end of the year for his grade level. The only issue was his comprehension. He didn't really understand what he was reading. Therefore, the lesson I created was to help build upon his skills that he had and enhance his comprehension. The book that I chose was this fictional book, We Don't Eat Our Classmates. Now, the reason I chose this book was because I felt like the story was something that was relatable for children. It was about a little dinosaur who started school and was having trouble making friends. Now, to me, this is very common for a lot of kids because each year they go to a different class and they meet new people, or they get transferred or move and go to a new school and have to meet new people. So it to me was something that they could make a connection with. During the story, some things that I had the children look for was the characters in the story, the setting where the story took place, and the main idea behind the story. During the story, I wanted the children to show me that they understood and answer questions and show whether or not they made a connection. The type of connections they could make was self to text connections, world to world to text connections, or text to text connections. Now, in order to let me know that they made these connections, they needed to use a symbol that the school uses. The symbol that the school uses is this. This symbol means that I made a connection with whatever I heard or read in a story that happened either in my life, something that I seen, or something that I read. Now, during the lesson, I could choose to give the kids a thumbs up to let them know I acknowledge that you made a connection, and that's great. Or if I have time, or it's a great time for me to have them share, I would ask them, "Oh, you made a connection? Let us know what your connection was," and allow the children to share out. Um, just so that I can see that they understand what is happening and they're engaged and they're keeping up with what is going on in the book. Now, before I start the book, I would ask the children to identify the parts of the book. I would show them this and I would ask, "What is this?" They would say front cover. I would ask, "What is this?" They would say back cover. I would ask, "What is this?" They would say spine. Now, the importance of having the children identify the parts of the book is because they need to know how to hold a book. You read a book from the front cover and you turn the page as so, and then you read from left to right. That is very important when teaching a child how to read a book. The next thing I would do is read the title and the author, and then I will begin to read. Now, as I begin to read, I will um, point out the fact that Penelope is the main character. Then I will continue to read, and I will ask the children to let me know who are the characters in the book that we have seen, and then I would allow the children to tell me. Then I would continue to read and follow up with, where is the story taking place? What is the setting? And the children would tell me, oh, the setting is in a school. And I would ask a follow up question, where in the school? And they would say, in a classroom. Most times, the children will start to make connections because they are also children who are in the classroom. By them making those connections, I can see that they are keeping up and understanding what is happening. Then I would ask them about what's happening in the story. They would tell me Penelope is having a difficult time, or, well, not difficult, is having trouble making friends in the classroom because she's not being nice. She's eating them, she's drawing on their stuff, and they don't like it, so they don't want to be her friend. Then I would keep reading, and that's when I would have them notice the transition of her not having friends to having friends. So now they have to figure out what changed. And then they would tell me, oh, She didn't like when the fish Walter bit her. And so now she understands how it feels. You can't be mean to your friends if you want to play with them. After I read the book, I will then have the children help me with an organizational chart. Now, most children want to help the teacher anyway. So I would start off before even asking them to help me. I would say, you know what? Miss Sprinkle needs help doing something. And oh my goodness, I have already forgotten and I need your help. And that is when I will introduce the chart to them, which will be on the a big yellow post-it. And I will ask them that, I will ask them to help me identify who the characters were in the book, where the story took place, which is the setting, and what the main idea was. What was the story about? As they begin to tell me this information, I will begin to fill in the chart. I will also use drawings because I want to make sure that not only am I meeting my auditory learners, I'm also meeting my visual learners because some children learn best when pictures are associated with words. After we go through the chart and they get all the information, I will then tell them that they will now have to think about a time where they were having trouble making friends and what did they do in order to get the person to be their friend. I will let them think and then I will tell them to turn to their elbow partner and discuss what they did in order to make the person become their friend. After that, I will allow a few children to share out how they made their new friends in their new classrooms. After that, I would explain to them that now they're going to be working independently at their tables, and I want them to draw a picture using this worksheet, draw a picture of what they did to make a friend, and write me a story of how they made that friend. Now, once they start that, this is the time for me to pull my small group. Now, my small group will consist of the student I did the IRI assessment with, along with another child in the classroom who is also having difficulties with comprehension, but can also read fluently and decode well. During my small group, I would reteach what we learned in the whole group, just in case they kind of forgot, and walk them through answering those brief questions of character, setting, and main idea. Once that was mastered, I would then discuss them telling me of a time where they had trouble making friends and what was the problem, and then how did they fix it in order to get the person to be their friend. Once we did that, I would then walk them through and have them draw. So this would be a lot of one step directions because I noticed that the kid that I was working with, his attention was very short. And so he needs to be guided through every step. So I would first ask him, so what did you do to get the person to be your friend? Once he told me that, I would ask him to draw how he did that. After he drew, I would tell him to label his picture because I believe that labeling helps, us clarify what is happening in the picture. And then I would ask him to write down how he did it. One day I came into the classroom and I was having trouble making friends and I did, X, Y, and Z. And then he would make sure that what he was writing matched what he drew. After that, once all the children were done, I would collect all the assignments so that I could grade them. Now, to grade them, I would use a rubric from 1 to 3. I would also provide feedback of glows and grows that I wanted to give to the students that was attached to their work. I believe in giving glows because I want kids to know what they were able to do well. And I believe in giving grows because I need them to know what we need to work on moving forward so that they can become better in whatever the task was. I think by doing this assignment and having the book something relatable will help not only build the student who I did the IRI assessment with comprehension skills, but also the other children in the classroom's comprehension skills. Thank you.